Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Mess. So, Derek, I got a fun and exciting video for you guys today because we're going to be taking another look at the updated Silent Hill PC port. So it's been about 2 or 3 months since I talked about this one, and since then KushAstronaut, the developer, has definitely improved it basically all the way from the front to the back. And that's definitely going to be a benefit to everyone in my opinion, because Silent Hill is still one of the best survival horror games ever made, and this is the game that launched that entire franchise that we're still getting new games in today. And last time I took a look at it, I said it was definitely shaping up nicely. You had different camera and control options, but it still definitely needed a little more time in the oven to be able to sit down and play from start to finish. Now, in the background, because my wife is out of town, I did complete this over the weekend, just kind of playing around with different levels, and I was able to finish the game, no issues whatsoever, outside of a few little visual glitches in the final boss. And considering you could run this thing at 1080p, you can run it at 4K, you can get widescreen, perspective, correct textures and polygons, it really makes a big difference. And right here, I am running the game at 60 frames per second as well, and I didn't really have any issues with that. And the nice thing is you can do these enhancements in DuckStation, but there's areas in Silent Hill, if you do enhance it via DuckStation, you're going to crash the game, and that's been an issue for years now where people realize you have to turn the enhancements off before you get to certain areas in the game, or else you are going to crash the actual program and have to restart and basically go from your last save. So it is nice to get something like enhancements that are going to work from start to finish, and no issues whatsoever. Before getting much further involved though, do me a huge favor down below, hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, I got a Patreon link down below as well. But this port is definitely improved a ton, and I will say, from all the camera angles to the performance, in my playthrough time and my capture time, there really wasn't much to point at to say there was any issues with it whatsoever. And that is markedly improved since the last time I took a look at the Silent Hill PC port, because I said it was a fun time, but it still had a couple glitches and a couple issues where I wouldn't really recommend you play the game from start to finish. But now, having done exactly that myself, I can say I had no game-breaking bugs, I had no crashes, I was just able to sit down and enjoy Silent Hill the way I remember it, except with a ton of different enhancements. And that really is kind of the nice part here. You can just basically do whatever you want with the game. You can go into the launcher, skip around, set your visual settings, and just basically have a fun time. And because in my studio my PC is hooked up directly to my LG C4 OLED television, I definitely had a good vibe going on, because this game has so many dark shadowy areas, and when they fall off to near perfect inky black on an OLED, it just kind of makes the game that much more impactful. And I do love how high definition, low definition this entire thing is, because of course you have a higher internal running resolution with still chunky pixels from all the textures. I'm sure a lot of people are going to want a texture pack for this one, but I kind of actually like the aesthetic of getting this thing in widescreen, being able to bump the polygonal resolution up, but still having those really grimy, gritty textures from the original game, because that is something that definitely made Silent Hill feel like Silent Hill. It was dirty, it was grimy, there was blood and gunk everywhere, and I think trying to clean that up with a texture pack while being fun, and I would definitely give it a shot. I don't know personally if that would actually improve the game, so you leave me a comment down below and you tell me, texture pack for Silent Hill PC port, yes or no? I'm not sure if I already mentioned this in the video, so I'll say it again. For those of you who care, and for those of you that don't, you get the same information. This one is using some Johnny 5 and LLM usage around the edges to aid in the development. And as far as the other PC port planned, I have no idea how that is planning on being made, but I feel like I do remember them saying that that was not the plan. So if you guys care, if you don't care, either way you get the information and you can do with that as you will. What I will say, playing this game through again, it hits every bit as good as it ever did back in the day. And the thing is, of course, Bloober Team is working on a remake of the original game, but they're going to change the audio, they're going to change the dialogue. It will still be Silent Hill 1, but it'll be a different vibe. And considering this game is so vibey, I kind of feel like we definitely need this PC port to have as good of a version of the original game to stand side by side with the remake when it eventually does come out. But that's going to be a fun universe in which we have not one but two PC ports of Silent Hill. We have a remake, and of course we still have the original version of the game if you want to play on a CRT and have that original PlayStation 1 vibe. Because this game is so incredible, I always say options are better, and the more options we have for this one, the better off we all are. Let's go into the first of two soundtrack samples so you can hear the audio quality on this PC port. I'll come back and talk a lot more about the improvements.
This is not a dream. What's happening to this place?
That definitely sounds accurate to Silent Hill to my ears, but you leave me a comment down below because I say in basically every video now, audio things are something that I just sometimes miss. I am way more visual of a person, and when there's a glitch in the audio, sometimes I just don't actually pick up on it, where you guys always notice stuff. Now, as far as the improvements are concerned around this one, the nice thing is this is going to come with a launcher, and I will leave a link to the website below where the developer KushAstronaut talks all about what is coming and what has been fixed. And the launcher will automatically update based upon the GitHub code, so if it tells you need to update in the launcher, you're able to run it there and have the most current version of the Silent Hill PC port. The nice thing is you can run it in windowed, you can run it in full screen, you have a full resolution option, you can turn on VSync, you can play around with the dithering, although honestly for the filtering, dithering is the only way to play the game in my opinion. You have anti-aliasing, you can have some CRT post effects as well, which I never usually use for videos, and you also have a flashlight mode where you can have a classic or classic with shadows and a bunch of options for the frame rate going all the way up to 240 frames per second. Now again, I capture this at 60 frames per second just because I think it works for the exhibition format, but if you have a high refresh monitor, you can kind of dial it all the way up to where you want it to be. And you also have the level select, so you can kind of pop around to all the areas, and a full mod manager as well, but I haven't really seen any mods for this. But if I had to pick one, I would love to see a VR mod where you kind of use that third-person camera mod and then basically have the ability to play around in Silent Hill almost like you're watching it in miniature. It would definitely be a vibe. I don't know if it would work perfectly, but it is something I would love to see people try because VR mods are always a good time. But again, I remember covering this PC port when it basically did absolutely nothing, had no enhancements whatsoever, and crashed every 30 seconds just to say that somebody was working on it. Because a lot of times I actually love when projects are just getting their life started, because you can kind of follow along with the progress over 3 months, 6 months, kind of like a year or so. And the version of Silent Hill on PC from KushAstronaut right now is night and day, different than what we actually first played around with. That's always the expectation. Things improve, you understand what's going on, you get bug reports and issue tickets over on GitHub, and then you fix things up and clean them up as you go along. And now being able to play something like Silent Hill at 240 frames per second in widescreen mode on your PC with all these quality of life improvements just makes such a big difference, at least for me personally. Because don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the original Silent Hill. I love the PlayStation 1 aesthetic, but I think honestly the only way you can still play that game and have it look halfway decent is to go to a CRT or a PVM and play it that way, whether you're on something like an FPGA console or original PlayStation 1 hardware. And that's why I keep not one, not two, but 3 different CRT televisions in my studio so I can kind of revisit these games how they originally looked. But if you don't have a CRT, honestly, Silent Hill can be a very kind of ugly game to try to just upscale in its native resolution onto your television. And again, with DuckStation, you can definitely make it look very close to this, but you are going to crash the game at certain spots, and if you don't research that in advance and understand exactly when you need to turn the enhancements off, you end up losing a lot of progress from your previous save. So this PC port definitely has a place in the Silent Hill pantheon as far as I'm concerned, but again, we're going to be getting another one soon, so it'll be fun to kind of look at that and compare and contrast how the development processes go and how it ends up being similar and different in the end, kind of the same way that we have not one but 2 different Twilight Princess PC ports, both Dusklight as well as Courage Reborn, because options again are always good, and I always advocate for the most amount of ways to play some of these classic games. Let's do one more soundtrack sample in a different area, obviously the school here, and I'll be right back to talk about Kindergarten Cop. So if you're looking for mods for this game, I can recommend you one that somebody should make. It doesn't exist, but I'd love to see it. Put Arnold Schwarzenegger somewhere in the school from Silent Hill, because if you're not aware, this school and a lot of the posters are basically based upon the school that showed up in the Kindergarten Cop movie. So really in the canon of Silent Hill, something went really wrong at that school one day, and Arnold Schwarzenegger's ghost is definitely in here somewhere. I'll jokes aside, clearly that's not what's going on, but every single time I play the game, I'm always reminded that these games and the movie do have that connection. But honestly, honestly, this is definitely improving a ton around the edges, and that is a lot of fun for a lot of people. And now that I played the game from start to finish, seeing the credits scroll, outside of a few bugs on the boss, everything else seemed to be perfectly fine. But short of that, if you have any questions or comments, leave it down below. If you have played around with this one, tell me what you think. But we're done. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.